Just breathe in, breathe out. You're not rushed. I'm rushed. I'm the one who's rushed. It says we're live. And nobody's here yet. Or at least the count says nobody's here. The count can be a filthy, dirty liar, though. So I didn't have time to fuss with my lighting.
We look good.
Oh, it says 2 people are here. Nice. You and me. Tiara check. It's the old workhorse. The OG tiara.
It's pretty. Is that the first one you got?
Megan!
Hi, Megan.
Raise the roof for Megan. Hey, maybe this time. Lisa. Is it okay if I call you Lisa? I hope I didn't dox you. Lost coffee mug. She is in the house. Paige is here. Yay! And so hello, everybody. Now, see, there are 3 people who've made comments, but it's telling me there's like 2 people here. So, Kristen, I'm raising the roof for everybody. I'm waving them in the air like I just don't care. When I don't know if you were there for B's author interview on Tuesday evening, but it was Leah Riley, and she writes time travel, and she was talking about, just was not relevant to time travel specifically, but she was just talking about how like as you get older, you embrace the cringe.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lost Coffee Mug, aka Lisa, says it's totally fine if I call her Lisa. Nice. Thank you. I appreciate the first name permission. Yeah, my lighting is a little off because I was running a little bit behind schedule, and I decided to do my makeup first before I got dressed or set up my lighting or anything, because I was like, if I do my makeup, then I will just have to force myself to find time to put on pants. Whereas if I prioritize putting on pants, I won't have time to do makeup, and I'll just like let it slide, and I didn't want to do that. So I am wearing pants and I am wearing makeup, but I don't have my lighting figured out. It's not great, but that's what the 10 minutes of yuck are for. Just like, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Oh, well, when I go to use StreamYard, it's like, pro tip, good lighting makes you look extra professional. And I'm like, I know that. I'm living that. Do you have a pro tip about how to achieve good lighting? Because that's what I'm struggling with. You know, it's not like, you know, yeah. Kristen Lee says, totally logical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Budget the luxuries first.
Yeah, you know, I used to wear a lot of makeup, but I don't wear makeup anymore. Yeah, I just I don't like the way it feels, and kind of a feminist stance, I guess.
It's like fun for self-expression, but the day I feel like I absolutely have to wear makeup, the only thing I feel really self-conscious about, and I've done videos, like even pre-recorded videos where I'm not wearing any makeup, or like sometimes when I do the car clip, I'm like, I'm wearing my car lip gloss. This is like lip gloss I keep in the car. I could just throw that on really quickly.
On another note, I was making some tea right before this started. So I'm going to try some blackberry citrus tea for the first time by Bigelow.
Nice.
And I went to grab my mug, and my dumb self reached over the boiling kettle to grab it and definitely burned myself.
Oh no! Do you need to run and get some cold water on there or something?
No, it's not that bad. I already put some.
Is that red mark on your arm?
Yeah.
I
put some burn gel on it, but
the other day I went down to cook lunch, to fix lunch, and I noticed that I had like a really gnarly cut on my hand, on like the tip of my pinky finger, which I was like, I don't even know how that happened. But I was like, turned to my mom and I said, I did everything else. I was like, would you mind cutting the tomatoes for the salad for me? Because I don't want to get, you know, tomato acid in that spot. And she goes, oh, no problem. And then she starts cutting tomatoes and she goes, ow! And I'm like, what? She says, I had a cut I didn't realize I had.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, you go fix it, because it's actually, when it's my non-dominant hand and it's the smallest finger, it's relatively easy to keep it out of the way and free of the tomatoes. If you have somebody else who is more incapacitated than you are. Paige says, oh, wait, Okay, Megan says, Abby, I love your shirt. That is definitely, it's a nice shirt. That's definitely Megan's style too.
Yeah, this is my little like interview outfit, and my pants, they're navy blue. I've lost so much weight that they like won't stay buttoned. I'm like, I'm gonna have to buy some new clothes.
Well, if you have an extension cord around somewhere, you can use it like a redneck belt.
Yeah, I have a belt. It's okay. I have a belt.
Okay. And Paige says, oh no, Abby Jean, those burns hurt. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Anyway, so I took a shower. It's very humid where I am. And I took a shower this morning. And it was partially because, it's nice to take a shower, but I've been doing some stuff. So I was a bit bedewed and sticky. And I was like, I'm going to take a shower. And the advantage of having long hair, as you would know, is that once you get your hair wet, it takes a long time to dry. So it keeps you cool for longer, which is great when it's gross and humid. But then my hair dried and I did some more stuff. I did 10 minutes of yuck a couple of hours ago, and I was all sticky and bedewed again. And so I went and I just stuck my head under the tap and ran cold water on it. So now it's wet again. Okay. So that's what I did.
Okay. But yeah, humidity is the worst.
Huh?
Humidity is the worst. Heat and humidity.
Yes, it's the pits. I do not like it. Are you frozen? We're both frozen.
I don't know. I'm not having any connection issues. I think you might be having some connection issues. Let us know in the audience what you guys are seeing. Bye, Sock. Okay, well, I guess I will talk about...
There we go.
Welcome back.
Freezing and sticking, and then I realized I was freezing and sticking, and then I saw my little thing that tells you how much Wi-Fi signal you have.
Mm-hmm.
In StreamYard, it was saying I had like one tiny little bar, but my own Wi-Fi indicator on my PC on my laptop was saying I was fine. This is like, I think Sock is frozen, said Megan. Well, you looked frozen to me too, and then it was only when I was like, oh, I'm frozen. And then I got the spinning wheel. So Lisa says, Abby Jean, you're fine. And Paige says, I think Sock was frozen. I am the ice queen. That's the deal. Yeah.
So I just finished a novella yesterday for the Ever Afterathon. This lady, Viper and the Bastard. Could I be? Yeah.
Oh, it's Eva Lee. I love Eva Lee.
This is part of the Villains I'd Like to F anthology, and I actually ended up giving it 5 stars.
Nice.
Yeah, I do rate novellas differently than I rate novels, so it's not necessarily the same caliber as some of the other.
Well, it's a different format.
Yeah. But anyways, it's really good because both the hero and the heroine are like villains. They're both rakes basically, and they're employed by these 2 warring families. There's 2 young people who are like in love, like it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet situation. Mm-hmm. So they employ these rakes to tear them apart. And so as the story goes along, they're supposed to be tearing this couple apart, and they start to see that they're both pretty cynical. They're both in their mid-40s too, which is really cool because that's totally different than normal.
Yeah.
And so they're starting to learn from these like young couple, and then they end up together at the end, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's good. It's steamy, funny, emotional.
Eva Lee has a good line in that. It's nice. I haven't read any novellas by her, so it's nice to know she works in she can do it in a shorter format, because some people can't, and that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and then today I'll be reading for our sprints. I'm just going to read today. I'll do some physical reading. I picked up this novella this morning. Meet Me at the Anvil by Kate Pryor.
Oh, Oh, yes. I know Terry was really talking that up a few weeks back, and I do mean to read it at some point.
Yeah, I read the first 30 pages this morning. It's only 100 pages. I have it's on Terry's 12 Recs list, and this will be my
Yeah.
second
I
one.
think that's the one I picked that I was going to read that she had read.
Well, I actually read a couple of her Kate Pryor's. She has a Claws and Cubicles series, which is like monster workplace romance, and those are both all novellas. And I've read two of those. The first one I actually have a copy of. Let me grab it.
Sure. While she's doing that, I will say I finished just before the stream. I finished The Ugly Duchess by Eloisa James. And yesterday, I finished a novella called The Corset Girls Unlaced by Annie R. McEwen, who's going to be on Bee's morning show on Friday. And I think I'm going to be joining that as well on camera.
Nice.
So I wanted to get that book read so that I could discuss it somewhat intelligently. Yeah. And also I wanted to get a picture taken so that, when she asks, because she's now incorporated that question about like, if I were to burn a candle while I read your book, what would it be? She's now just incorporated it into her list of questions. So they actually see it in advance and they can give it some thought. But that way I have something ready that I burned this candle while I read this book.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah.
And it was funny because I was in Amber. I can't remember her full channel name. Amber Reads Romance. Maybe she's one of the team captains. I think she is the team governess. She reads a lot of contemporary dark romance. And so she was having reading sprints last night and I joined in. And I was like, well, I'm actually reading an historical. And then as I was reading the book, I realized that a significant amount of it was taking place in and around London gangs in the 1880s. So it actually was an organized crime romance, although the guy had previously been in the organized crime ring and he was kind of out of it. But then, his past came back. It came back in a very useful way because the female main character got kidnapped and he had already, kind of pledged himself to her, and he had a very beautiful "anybody hurts you and they are dying" kind of speech. So it was like, actually, this is pretty mafia adjacent.
Maybe you should mention that in the Ever Afterathon Discord. Somebody was asking for mafia historicals, and I was able to drop some recs. But yeah, you might want to mention that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Kate Pryor, here's the cover of her one novella, Laugh, Love, Lich.
Lich or lick?
Lich. Like he's a lich. That's he's like a reaper basically. So that one was a lot of fun. And then the second
At first I thought you said reefer and I'm like, what? Huh? He's a reefer? And then I was like, oh, a reaper. Okay. Gotcha. So is this historical or?
No. That one is the Kate Pryor's monster Claws and Cubicles. And the second one.
I was getting confused because when you said Kate Pryor, I thought you were talking about the person who wrote Anvil.
It is the same person.
Oh, it is the same person. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, so it's the Claws and Cubicles. And then I don't know. I'm also like, I'm getting kind of bedewed again. So it might be time to do the 10 minutes of yuck, where the 10 minutes of yuck is me splashing cold water on my face and destroying all the makeup and being okay with it. You'd be like, awesome, Sock, you look better without. And I'm like, yeah, tell that to my eyebrows. That's the thing, is I always had really heavy eyebrows. And then as I got older, they're still fairly heavy in here, but they've thinned out. So I kind of paint them on just to make them look a little more balanced. That's the only one that I've done it without the eyebrows. I don't think anybody really cares except me. Okay, so we're going to do 10 minutes of yuck. Let me paste in the link for The River 105.9. So if anybody wants to rock with Sock. Okay. So there's my okay, there we go. That is Okay, so that's the link for the classic rock station I'll be rocking out to while I do my 10 minutes of yuck, which is mostly cleaning up my bedroom. I'm in my bedroom because this is where I'm going to get the strongest signal and least likely to get frozen, but apparently it still happens. So my 10 minutes of yuck is going to be doing all the tidying that I normally would have done before the live stream started. So, okay, so I have that. Oh, Paige feels my pain. I have to fix my eyebrows since I'm naturally a blonde, but dye my hair black. Yeah. Eyebrows are just like, no matter what the style that's popular for eyebrows at the time is, you know you're not going to have it. You know, when heavy eyebrows are in, you're not going to have those.
No, I feel
when
that.
lighter eyebrows are in, you're not going to have those. It just doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you're just like, I don't believe in any of this. Okay, so we're going 10 minutes. It is now 17 minutes past the hour, so we're going to, this is so true. We're going to go to 27 minutes past the hour. Okay, so 0, 0, oops. Sprinting until 0017. And I am going to mute myself. Wait, can I mute everybody? Okay, it's time to come back. We're done with the yuck. No more yuck. There are comments. It looks like the Queen Bee herself has joined us.
Hey, Bee.
Oh, hey, I scroll back. I missed a lot by getting up away from the computer. Okay. Okay, B said, I need some midweek motivation. I believe I've come to the right place. You know something? I always lose a subscriber during midweek motivation. I think what happens is people subscribe to me because they want to be reminded and they're like, oh yeah, I want to do midweek motivation. That sounds cool. And then they get here and they're like, I don't know that this is really for me. So they nope out. That's fine, of course, but I'm not sure how much we succeed at actually motivating people, but you know, it's a good time.
Speak for yourself.
What, you're not having a good time?
No. About not motivating people. I was just joking.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you know, because I originally, when I conceived of this idea, it was like, oh yeah, we can all share tips and tricks to help motivate one another. Like, what do we do to motivate? And then it just didn't turn into that. And that's fine too. I was like I'm just going to roll with it. You know, I had this idea in my mind, but I wasn't like, you know, that or bust. So, okay. Hey B, you sure have. We're doing a quick 10-minute sprint, says Paige. And Lisa says, hey B, I feel like this week for sure we all need that midweek motivation. I got it in this coffee mug right here because, yeah, it's coffee. Oh, yeah. I read past my bedtime last night, early this morning, and I woke up feeling like trash, which is not unusual. But I was like, usually I get up, I move around, I brush my teeth, I go downstairs, I have some breakfast, and I feel better. And my mom and I play this little game where we're always reading books, and we play this book is set in a location, and then the other person has to try to ascertain what that location is. So my mom's like, I'm reading a book that takes place in a location. And I looked at her and I said, I don't have the energy to do this right now. Can we maybe try again at lunch? Which we ended up doing. And then I came upstairs, slept for a couple of hours, and then I was basically okay, but still a little sluggish. Okay. B says, oh, wow, that is super quick. You guys are so efficient. And then she greets Paige. And
yeah, so Sock always does. She starts her sprints with the 10 minutes of yuck. So the idea is,
I think it was Nicole who named it that, or was it you?
Nicole.
Yeah, the 10 minutes of yuck. It's just like you can clean the bathroom or just make phone calls you don't want to make, or people don't really balance their checkbooks anymore. I mean, I don't. I'm constantly checking my balance anyway. It's like a continuous process as opposed to a once a month thing these days. But, you know, whatever it is that you really don't want to do for more than 10 minutes. I think B was maybe thinking, though, because she's done this. She knows about the 10 minutes of yuck. I'm wondering if she was thinking we were being efficient because we started fairly early with that first 10 minutes of yuck. But don't worry, we're about to just stall and chit-chat, and it's going to be a while before the next sprint, probably. I don't know. And then B said, this is so fun. It stinks that I miss this so often. My middle kiddo is sick. I remember being sick when I was a kid. It was the best. So we're all at home today. So glad that it means I can catch midweek motivation. Yay, we're happy to have you here.
Glad everybody's getting healthy again.
Well, you know, I know I tended to get sick in those last few weeks of school. Actually, when I was a junior in high school, I did actually get walking pneumonia in like May. I was home for about a week, all told. But no, was it pneumonia or bronchitis? I don't know, because the doctor did an X-ray and she's like, yes, she's got stuff on her lungs, but it's nothing to be worried about. Just stay home, take it easy. Yay that you get to join us today, B, says Paige, but so sorry to hear the kiddo is sick. Thanks, Paige. She's definitely going to be going to school tomorrow. She's going to crack that whip. I can remember having a sick day when I was little and didn't want to go to school. You know, I have sick days all the time. And then, hi, Abi Jean, hi, Sock. I always lose subscribers when I do a live show. Oh, so it's not just me. That's interesting. It's weird but true. Sometimes I'll lose up to 4. Megan says, wow, that sucks and is so weird. Yeah, I didn't make the connection until I don't usually look at my analytics because I'm just here to have a good time. I don't really care that much, but I just got, every once in a while I get curious. And yesterday I saw I gained so many subscribers from shorts, so many from videos. And it's like when it came to lives, it was like -1. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not for everyone. I acknowledge this.
Well, not everyone likes live shows. Like before I started watching live shows, like I didn't like YouTubers who did too many, because every time you open up your YouTube, it always like pops up as the first thing, like if there's lives.
Yeah,
and so that can be
it's like getting spammed.
Yeah, if you're not into that, then it can push people away, I guess, or
Yeah. Or it's just like, it's not necessarily that they watched the live, but they saw it's a reminder that you exist. And if they're, I mean, and that's the thing, is you subscribe to people and then you find out their content isn't really for you and you unsubscribe. But they're like, oh yes, I meant to prune this person from my subscription list. And this is a reminder that, oh yeah, I can do that, which is fine. I mean, like I said, but let's see. And then B says, truly, yeah, it's not just you. And then she said, yeah, that's it, Abi Jean. And I think it was the comment about, like, when it comes up on your feed all the time, this person's doing a live, this person's, gets a little old. What I hate is, well, hate is a strong word. What I don't like is when people set a video as a premiere rather than just posting it. And then and sometimes it is like on your feed for like 2 weeks. I mean, I understand a couple of days, like 2 or 3 days, but when they say, oh yes, this is coming up on June 1st, and it's like, why are you spamming me this early out? It's just like, yeah. And then, okay, Beast gave the 100 icon, and then she says, I've actually thought about, I could be showing these on the screen, couldn't I? Yeah, I forgot about that.
I was going to send you a message about that afterwards. It's like,
why is it
pull them up next time?
Yeah, because I can't do that in YouTube, or at least, it's a StreamYard thing. I thought about doing live streams on another channel. Maybe that's what I do have another channel. Sock Marionette has 2 subscribers, and I think they're my mom and my sister. I posted like one short of some geese I saw behind the doctor's office a couple of years ago because I couldn't figure out how else to share it. Okay, there we go. Show. Like making a channel just for live shows. Stormy's here. Hi, Stormy.
Hi, Stormy.
Yeah, she's not doing the Ever Afterathon. She is doing middle grade May, where she's reading a lot of middle grade. So that's some fun.
Nice.
She was talking about a series I wasn't familiar with. I don't read a lot of middle grade. And it was I think it's called Zombie Season by Jeffrey or Jonathan Weinberger. Anyway, it sounded pretty interesting. And I was going to suggest that she might be interested in that Terry Pratchett series about the Johnny Maxwell trilogy. It's kind of comedy science fiction, and you have, I don't remember what they're all called, but one is aliens. I talked about it during the Book Talk with Sock Sci-Fi that you were participating in. One is about aliens, one is about ghosts, and one is about time travel, which I really, really like the time travel one because that's kind of where I live. But yeah. So.
Oh, Discworld, says B.
Yeah, he wrote Discworld, but this is a different thing. This is something he wrote specifically for kids called the Johnny Maxwell trilogy. Yeah, Johnny and I know the time travel one was called Johnny and the Bomb, but I don't remember. It was like Johnny and Johnny Saves the World. I don't know. It was fun. My husband is obsessed with Discworld. Oh, so he does occasionally read non-boring things. That's nice to know. It's not all a history of paint drying. Yeah, Terry Pratchett, exactly. Ooh, says Mama, I don't know what about. And then she says,
LOL. Because you said that it wasn't the Discworld.
Yeah, it's not Discworld. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, because Discworld is, I mean, I think it's probably accessible for advanced readers who are younger. But Johnny Maxwell is specifically middle grade directed, as opposed to just being something you could probably read if you were middle grade and a strong reader. Well, the thumbnail for today's live show was a pile of stuff in my shame corner. I call it the shame corner. It's not really the shame corner. It's just where I put stuff that needs to be sorted. And this is from last Thursday. I went to count them, 5 different libraries to pick stuff up. Megan says, I got some Discworld books for my birthday last year. I've never read any before.
I haven't read any Terry Pratchett either, but I've heard a lot of really good things from it. Mostly just people saying that they grew up with him. And
well, it was funny because I didn't think I'd read any Terry Pratchett. And then the other few weeks ago, I got interested. I think I mentioned this during the sci-fi show. I remembered a book I read when I was a kid called The Carpet. Well, I didn't remember what it was called. I just knew it was about these tiny, tiny little people who live in a shag carpet. And like they think it's a big forest, and kind of is. And they live in terror of the giant devil, which is of course the vacuum cleaner. And so I looked it up, and it was like it is actually, the book is called The Carpet People. So that worked, and it is by Terry Pratchett. And I was like, oh,
that's such a fun.
I have read Terry Pratchett. And Mama says, yeah, neat. That is a cool gift. I think there's a show. My husband was watching it. It features Sean Astin, Samwise Gamgee. He's Rudy. He's Rudy, and you know it.
Gamgee, I think.
I don't know.
From Lord of the Rings.
The only way I know, I ended up watching Lord of the Rings with a friend of mine, and I told my sister I was watching it with her, and my sister called me a very rude word. And I said, what? And she says, I've been trying to get you to watch those movies for years. And I'm like, do you have access to the same kind of herbs that my friend does? And at the time, my sister was like, no. And I said, do you think I'm going to watch it without some kind of outside assistant? And my sister was like, no. And I was like, now I want you to go and think about what you've done. Beanies knows what I'm talking about. Rudy. More laughing. Stormy says, I haven't read Terry Pratchett, but did try to watch a movie based on one of the author's books, and it was too silly for me, LOL. He is a very silly person. Well, it was, but his works are very silly. It's true. And then B says, yes, it is very silly. I think, I like things like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and so on. I make up elaborate little society for my stuffed animals still. So, yeah, I have all of this stuff. If people want a haul, I got hauls. Because last Thursday, I went to 5 libraries. And I ended up stumbling on free books.
That just, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I'm on the second shelf now.
Oh, wow. Oh, cool beans.
Thanks to Paige.
Oh, did she send you a goodie box?
Yeah, she sent me a few things, and then I had to move to a second shelf. So those on the top are, yay, Megan. Those on the top are my non-romance books, and then I've got romance. So, yay, second shelf.
I'm not raising the roof. I'm raising the shelf.
Yes.
Second shelf. And Megan, oh yay, and hooray! Okay, so I had the free books I picked up on Thursday. Go Abi Jean. Love seeing the shelves fill up.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, Notre Dame Church in the next town south of me, Durham, Connecticut, they had their first tag sale. May through October inclusive, they have a tag sale on the first Saturday of the month. And I know I think I told you that day. I was like, well, I went to a tag sale, and you're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Tag sale is New England for like garage sale, flea market. The idea is you put out your stuff with a tag on it that says how much it costs. And we call it a tag sale because we're really good with names like that. We have a town. When I first moved to Connecticut, we lived for about 6 months while we looked for a permanent home. We were leasing an apartment in a town called a Rocky Hill. You want to know how I got that name? There was a hill and there were rocks on it.
It's descriptive.
I live in Middletown. You know how it got that name?
Is it in the middle of the town?
Middletown. Yeah, there's a district called Middletown. It got that name for two reasons. One is it is equidistant from both New York and Boston. And also it is equidistant between Hartford and New Haven. It's like midway between Hartford and New Haven. But also we're on the mighty Connecticut River, which is beautiful. And we're about halfway between Hartford and the mouth of the river at Old Saybrook. So we're in the middle of things. We're not quite in the geographic center of Connecticut, which is constantly being recalculated as computers get more and more sophisticated because we have a somewhat crinkly coastline. So they're always trying to figure out, like there's always somebody who's doing their graduate mathematics thesis is trying to figure out the geographic center of Connecticut, which is, that would be a fun project. Let's see, what do we got here?
Yeah. I was kind of picturing like Phoenix, where that's a big city that swallowed up a bunch of little cities.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like when somebody says, well, like, what's the biggest city? What are the 5 biggest cities in Arizona? Because I do these quizzes on a website called Sporkle, and they have those kinds of quizzes, or California for that matter. And it's like, well, some of the biggest cities in California, there's Los Angeles, but also Long Beach. And I'm like, Long Beach is Los Angeles. And it's like, they say, well, Mesa is big. It's not as big as Phoenix. And I'm like, Mesa's just a part of Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Get out of here with that. Because yeah. I'm like, okay, the biggest cities in Arizona are like Tucson and Phoenix. And then they're like, and also Mesa and Temple. And I'm like, no, just no, those aren't separate cities. And you can't convince me otherwise. So anyway, so I went to the tag sale and I got some books there. And I also got a little bouquet of fake tulips.
Oh, those are so pretty. I need more fake flowers in my house. I need more color.
Well, they also had some daffodils, but they weren't as nice. So I can get them.
All right, let's see some books.
Huh?
Let's see some books.
Oh, but flowers, Abi Jean, flowers. These are several different stems that have just been wired together. So I don't have to keep them in this format. Okay, so let's see. Where should I start? I don't even know where to start. I'll go with the tag sale ones. The tag sale, the books were priced. See, tag sales, even though they have tags that tell you the price, there's always room to haggle. And I actually went up and I had all these books, and they were supposed to be 50 cents. It was 50 cents each for mass markets, or 3 for $1. And then trade paperbacks and hardbacks were like $1. And I came up with like 8 books, and she's like, oh, that's $2. And some of them were hardbacks. And she's like, the more you buy, the cheaper it is, but don't tell anybody. I'm like, the motto of the Catholic Church. Okay, so, I got 8 volumes, but it's actually 9 books. This first one I picked up is Truly Madly Manhattan by Nora Roberts. And this is actually a silhouette. So these are 2 of her silhouette books that have just been...
has a lot of Nora Roberts.
Huh?
Paige has a lot of Nora Roberts.
Nice. So this is actually 2 novels by Nora Roberts from, I'm guessing, the 80s. Local Hero from 1988 and Dual Image from 1985. This is a re-release this is actually a re-release in 2007, after she got more popular and famous for writing non-category. But yeah. Okay, and then, this is a nonfiction book. I do occasionally read those. It's called At Sea in the City. And it is New York from the Water's Edge, which is just like talking about New York as a maritime town. And let's see. I have 2.5 shelves full of Nora Roberts. Yeah, actually, a nearby library is kind of like the Nora Roberts repository. Because, libraries are going to have some titles by Nora Roberts. Like one library will have some and one will have another. Well, the Cromwell Public Library has like whole cases full of Nora Roberts because I think they have everything.
I think I ended up with the Nora Roberts book at some point, and before I started collecting, and I think it was like On the Run or something like that, and I just tore all the pages out and used them as like for journaling, to bring in some like like book pages for journaling.
Yeah, I normally wouldn't pick up Nora Roberts simply because she's so prevalent in libraries. But I did actually, I went to a library book. It was like a library sale. That was the Valentine's Day sale where Kristen Higgins was signing books. Not Kristen Higgins. Yeah, Kristen Higgins. I always get Kristen Higgins and Kristen Hanna mixed up. And she said, don't worry, everybody does it all the time. She gets like a letter saying, the Nightingale changed my life. And she writes back and says, yeah, it did mine too. I wish I had written it. Is Nora Roberts actually romance? I always thought she was more women's fiction. Well, she started off in category with Silhouette. And she writes a lot of romantic suspense. And she does write women's fiction as well. So, but I picked up her Brides Quartet. It's 4 books that are centered around a wedding business. And they're set in Connecticut, so they had local interest for me. She's not a Connecticuter, but, you know. And let's see, I have this book. I don't know what it is. It is The Letter by Ruth Saberton. What is it? I don't know. I'll find out. And then I have, Elizabeth Lowell, Winterfire. It has some nice raised lettering and metallics and so on. And it is the boring kind of step back that just has promotional material. And this one that is like falling apart, probably, it just smells like old books. To the Opera Ball.
Oh, that's pretty.
Who is he? This Airman Rolfe. How did he come to be at the opera ball to enchant the beautiful young heiress Leona and to have her and to lure her away with him? He is the child of a love affair, as romantic, as passionate, and yet as different from his liaison with Leona as darkness is to light, as the dance of death is to the opera ball. I don't know. I don't even know. B says, when was To the Opera Ball published? Look at how old the pages look. Yes, they do. I don't think those are sprayed edges either. I think it's just elderly. I'm guessing 1970s. 1975.
Good guess. See, I'm not the only one who likes to know date published.
Yeah. This printing, first printing, February 1978. So, and it is 430 pages long. I just ordered a book called Austen at Sea from a local bookstore event in June. They are doing an author meet and tea party in Regency Gear afterward.
Oh, that's so fun.
Nice.
If you
Stormy says that one looks cool. Yeah, Stormy likes the vintage.
If you get dressed up,
and it was copyright 1975, so I hope I'm not telling tales out of school when I say it is the same age as Stormy. And B says,
Megan, if you go to the Jane Austen event and get dressed up, you have to share it with us. Well, you don't have to, but if you want,
it would be nice. It would be nice.
Yeah.
I like that Nora Roberts writes a little of everything: category, women's fiction, romantic suspense, and even dabbles in paranormal. Yeah, and then she also has the sort of science fiction mystery series In Death, which she writes under the name J.D. Robb. I'm pretty sure that's Nora Roberts. B says, OMG. Yeah, I think OMG indeed. And I hope that there are pics when it happens. If it happens. Are you going? No, she has to. B's like, no. This is not extra credit. This is not optional. This is a core requirement. Yes, I'm going to order a dress from Amazon and go. The book is our ticket. Lovely.
Oh, that's so fun.
And oh, Stormy's giving me the shh. I am telling tales out of school. And B is laughing. And Paige says, yes, take a pic for us, Megan. You'll notice that is not a question. That is a command. Did you freeze? Oh, you're just so still. I admire that. Okay, and then I also got this book by Marcia. Is this Canham or Lanham? I need to figure this out for alphabetization purposes. Do you want to, like... I still don't know. I don't know if that's a C or an L.
I would guess C. Is it on the title page? Yes, thank you, B.
Okay. No one will share my excitement like you. This is what it looks like on the title page.
Oh,
They were really committed to that font. Oh, she says it's
gotcha.
Can Am. Okay, I have a bunch by her. Well, this one is called The Lost Arrow. And we know it was not lost down his shirt because we'd be able to see it. This is from 1997. And
Bees into
Allison
it.
Sweeney is scared scriptless. And okay, I got this one because it wasn't very expensive. I knew it was part of the series, and I didn't know if it was the first book in the series. It's not. It never is. But it is Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. I haven't read anything by Devney Perry, but I guess the first book in the series is actually Indigo Ridge, and I think this might actually be the second one. At some point after the Everathon is after, I'm going to do a dive in or drop out on series where I don't have the first book, where I only have like subsequent books, and I have to get the first book from the library.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I had some of them out, and then I couldn't do anything about it because the Ever Afterathon. So I'm just like, I'm going to return them and come revisit that in June. Says B. Fun. Oh, great step back, says Stormy. Now, where did I put that one? I don't know what I'm doing. Is it the step back or the subject of the painting? And Juniper Hill is the second. Yeah, I realized that when I got home, but I mean, it's like not even 50 cents. So that's what I got at the tag sale. There might have been some others thrown in there because I don't know. So that was that. And I still have all the freebies I picked up on Thursday. So, but should I get into those now, or should we do a thingamajiggy?
I think we should do a sprint.
That's what I meant by thingamajiggy.
I got you.
Thank you for translating from SOC to English.
You want to do 30 minutes?
Huh?
30 minutes?
30 minutes, yeah. Let's do 30 minutes to 25 minutes past the hour. Yeah, as Stormy points out, she rarely ends up with book one when thrifting. I did think of you because at the tag sale, they had a Perry Mason. Something about a Duchess, maybe? I don't know. Stormy likes her Perry Mason. Okay, so here we go. Here is the link for the River 105.9 again. And we are going to 25 minutes past the hour. Sprinting. I never spell sprinting correctly until 0025. Okay, see you guys later. Okay, you guys. Time to come back. Time to come back. Although Lisa has already left and come back. She had a little lie down. And Aina is here, but with a footnote, an asterisk on her presence. I'm here, but maybe in and out. I have it playing on my PS5, but I can't chat on that, and I'm feeling a bit sick today. Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling up to, I'm sorry you're not feeling great. I'm glad you're here, at least.
Hey, Amy.
I want to know if she's watching this on her PS5, can she like make us do things like with her controller? She'll be mashing that button that says Hall. Want to see the books? Show me the books. Show me the books. Show me the books. There's something really going around lately. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the sickness that Bee's kid has. So how was your sprint?
It was good. I read about 20 pages. I'm reading Meet Me at the Anvil by Kate Pryor. I'm halfway through now, and it's pretty good. It's a historical, and it's about a woman who is a runaway bride, and she ran away with the best man. So, yep. And it's also about disability rep. She has some kind of condition that causes her to faint all the time. I'm not sure what it is. So, so yeah.
Well, I was adding books to Goodreads the whole time. And if Stormy is still here, I have something that she may be interested in. And while I wait to see if she gives a little emoji or waves or says I'm here or whatever, this is one of the free books. I got all of the free books, right? And this is one of them, and it's a book I've been looking for. It's a book I've already read. Oh, yes. Stormy says she watched YouTube, and now you're doing it again. When I was cataloging the books I picked up, this is one. I got some free books that were Library DX sessions, and one of them is middle grade. M.T. Anderson, The Suburb Beyond the Stars. I don't know if you're familiar. I'm not, but it looked intriguing. And it turns out this is book 2 of a 4-book series. And I think these are kind of standalones, but they're about the same two kids, Gregory and Brian. So I just thought let's see if I can keep the live going while I'm waiting for little bro at school. Hey, little bro. I mean, I don't know that one, says Stormy. Well, like I said, it is the second book in the series. I think they're standalones, but they're about the same two kids. And something incredibly strange is happening in Vermont. You don't have to tell me that. I live in New England. I know what goes on. It's not the game of sunken places. Brian and Gregory have been through that before, and there's not supposed to be another game until Brian says there's a game. That was the first book, was the game of sunken places. And Gregory's adventurous cousin Prudence has disappeared. When Brian and Gregory go to the Vermont woods to track down Prudence, they find many things are off. People are not where they're supposed to be. Time has stopped working properly. And at night, something stalks between the houses, taking people away. It's up to Brian and Gregory to save the town, the state, and humanity itself. Beyond this eerie suburb is a much bigger battle, and it's one Brian and Gregory can't afford to lose, because the strange things are about to get much stranger, and Brian and Gregory are the only ones who can stop them. Well, I had a very nice time. I've been to Vermont, and I had a very nice time. I went to the Ben & Jerry's factory. Paige says, I was getting some work done, but hoping to jump back into my book later to do. Nice. Lisa says, that sounds...
Paige, what are you reading? Let us know.
Yeah. While you're formulating your response, I will tell Lisa is interested. She says, that sounds good. What is the name of the book again? It is called The Suburb Beyond the Stars. It is an episode of The Outer Limits, the original series, and again in the 90s. It's a very good one. And it is by M.T. Anderson. and it is winner of the National Book Award. I think that's the author, not this particular book. And again, this is the second book in this series. So that was my middle grade. I'm still working too and so tired, says Megan. But I started reading Love in the Afternoon.
Sorry you're tired.
What?
Said sorry you're tired, Megan.
Yeah. That's not good. Love in the
Afternoon.
Working. Working or planning the wedding.
Same thing.
She can hopefully, yes. Hopefully she can tear herself away long enough to enjoy the Regency tea. Love in the Afternoon, is that?
That's Lisa Kleypas.
Okay.
The Hathaways.
And Anna says, I got an arc of Allison Speak's newest book to read and review, so I'm torn between that and Sia at the moment. Sia the artist, the musical artist? Listening to that? Or is that something else? I'm reading book 1 of the Timeless series by Gabrielle Meyer called When the Day Comes. I believe B is having the author on her channel tomorrow. There was some confusion, actually, because... tomorrow is Thursday. I keep thinking today is Thursday, even though I'm in the middle of doing Midweek Motivation, which is a Wednesday join. I don't know what that's. Sia is the best something or other by Eden O'Neill. Okay, I was thinking Sia, like, didn't you do a song called Chandelier or something? Book, okay. I was wondering what that word was. My brain is not cooperating. I get it. My hair is not cooperating. What are you doing?
So, so I'm reading the Meet Me at the Anvil, which is 12 in 2025 by Terry. And then also I'm reading audio A Week to Be Wicked by Tessa Dare, and I'm reading that for Megan. Megan's 12 and 25, and it's really good so far. I'm like 30% in. It's giving me like the Mummy vibes, because the heroine is a geologist and the hero's a rake, and they are going to go to make a journey to Scotland to present her findings. And it's been a lot of fun so far. This one was like kind of so I loved Tessa Dare's. Megan says, "Oh, Abby, I'm so glad you love it. That's so good." Yeah. Well,
thanks.
Yeah. So I loved her new series, which I have them up there. Her newest series. Those 3, love those. But her older ones, well, the start of the Spindle Cove series, the first 2 books, the first one and then the novella, I gave the first one 2 stars, and the novella I DNF'd. I did not like them at all. The heroes were just too pushy for me, I think. So this one, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, but I am loving it so far. So I'm super glad I decided to pick this one up.
Okay, the only Tessa Dare I've read so far is, I think it was Tessa Dare, 9 Rules to Break When Romancing Rake.
That's Sarah McLean.
Oh, it was the Duchess Deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Duchess Deal, it's so good. Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it. I have some other books by her, but yeah. So yeah, I didn't read. Like I said earlier, just before the sprint, I finished The Ugly Duchess by Eloisa James. And so I'm kind of... did want to start something new, and I got all these books to catalog, so there's that. Let's see, I also got a YA that was a Deaccession Library book called Inventing Elliot by Graham Gardner. And I don't want to go too late with the sprints today, because Tea and Biscuits are due.
That's right. Yeah.
They're doing sprints this evening at 7, and I want to participate in those. Oh no, I'm sorry, the other Spindle Cove books don't work for you. Thank you again for giving A Week to Be Wicked a chance. I hope it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah. Well, I read those. So I don't necessarily stand by all of my ratings in the past 5 years. So if I read them again today, I might have a different opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, A Week to Be Wicked it's definitely vibing for me. So I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't know that I'm going to have time to show all of these books because I have a lot. So do we? I am going to show one though. This is a book I have been looking for that I have read, and I was very happy when it was on the free rack because I was like, I have the 2 sequels with it. I haven't read them yet, but I liked it. And Megan, you're going to appreciate this. It is Texas Destiny by Lorraine Heath. Like I said, I've already read this one, but I read it from the library. So far, Kristen Lee has not lost us. She's doing better than I am. Anyway, but I wanted my own copy of it because I read it from the library, and I have been keeping an eye out for it. I haven't found it, and then it was right there at the free books. And I always liked this because the cover just says to me, "If the wagons are rocking, don't come a knocking."
I love that. Yeah, I love those covers. I don't know if Lorraine Heath is for me. I've read a couple of her books. I think I gave both of them 2 stars. The Earl Takes All and then one other one. But I kind of want to give that Western series a chance because I know a lot of people like it.
Yeah, and she also has like another series. I can't remember what it's called right now, and I think I have all of them. It's like Never Love a Cowboy and others. And those are like these English aristocratic dudes who end up in Texas or something. I don't know, but I'm kind of into that idea. Okay, so do we want to just see some step backs? Is that
Yes, I was gonna say. Oh, but first I want to say, I love those like fish out of water situations.
Yeah.
Like the book that sorry, I haven't mentioned this, but Nicole actually sent me a book recently.
Nice.
So super nice. And that one is a billionaire one, and I absolutely love it because there's a scene where where she takes him camping, and he's just totally out of his element, and like he has a complete breakdown. And I just love seeing this billionaire who's always like super in control and super, just completely broken down because he can't handle camping. So I love those fish out of water.
Well, this is another book I found. I wasn't going to do it because it's not a step back. Oh, a couple of others. We have another Nora Roberts. This is like original binding silhouette special edition. But anyway, and you're saying the billionaire romance. I actually found this. Is this a larger print? Harlequin Presents Undone by Her Ultra Rich Boss.
Oh. Okay.
That's like my dream I had where I was like falling asleep and I thought of this title, and it was The Billionaire Virgin's Secret Baby. Mm-hmm. And then during B's live show yesterday, I was like trying to come up with a plot for it on the fly. Oh yes, Lorraine Heath's Texas books are amazing, and I don't read Westerns at all. Those are the only ones I've read. I have been really getting into Westerns lately, the Western romances. So let's see. So step backs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's see. Okay, we have, this is a disappointing step back. I'm sure the book is fine, but it is The Finer Things by Brenda Joyce.
Pretty.
Beautiful cover, and it is the boring kind of step back. I mean, at least they gave it a background. It's like ritzy wallpaper or something, but we have, this is a deaccession book. From which library is this? Wells Turner Memorial Library. They got ants everywhere. I don't know where the heck that is. Okay, this is from Glastonbury. I wasn't in Glastonbury, but I was on that side of the river at least. And this is Wicked Intentions by Elizabeth Hoyt.
Ooh, I like that one.
Isn't that pretty?
It's a 2-page one too.
Yeah. And it's like, it's nice because although the barcode is covering up part of the furniture, it's not covering up like somebody's foot or something. So it looks like they have like, they're a cyborg or something.
That is so pretty. I love the colors of the background.
Yeah, and I don't know how well you can tell, but there's like the chandelier and then these kind of gauzy curtains, but also pictures.
Yeah,
Boo,
that's
we don't want
gorgeous.
wallpaper, says Kristen. Yeah, we want couples making out. Come on.
Exactly.
Ooh, very nice. And the background is beautiful. It is lovely.
Yeah.
And Sophie Jordan, All the Ways to Ruin a Rogue. All of them, really. All of them. It's not
How do
that
you ruin a rogue?
well, I'm just like all the ways to ruin a rogue because I mean this is 300 and some odd pages, 360 pages, and it's like I can think of more than 360 pages worth of ways to ruin a rogue.
Love the pink dress.
Pink dress. And some medieval action, I believe. Yeah. Samantha James, The Truest Heart. And we have a keyhole.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's so pretty.
Isn't it though? Like the keyhole is shaped like a shield and we see the castle and then you pull it back and it's like, yeah, there's a castle. And they went for a little walk and then he lost his shirt and she is comforting him. And then I don't know how much cousin marrying is involved in this book. I have to assume some.
Catherine Coulter, isn't it?
It is. That one is pretty, says Kristen Lee. And Anna says, I adore that style of dress. This is The Deception by Catherine Coulter. And I believe those would be the White Cliffs of Dover over here. And some flowers. And she looks kind of, she looks a little pallid. Like, I wonder if she's like
yellow.
I wonder if she's like a little wallflowerish or something. I think this is like some kind of deal where she's like a spy or something. The Duke of Portsmouth offers an impecunious half-French relative a job as his young son's nanny. What he quickly discovers is that he wants her badly. What he discovers far more slowly is that she isn't all what she seems. She isn't at all what she seems. Evangeline de Bichon is in way over her head. She has far more to cope with than a 19-year-old virgin should ever have. Okay, I don't know why the virginity is relevant here.
I was thinking that too.
To top it all off, she must play an experienced widow with a man who knows women as well as he knows his horses, or so he thinks.
What?
That has some unfortunate implications.
I think that cousin love would be a little bit less extreme.
Yes, I guess the fact that they're vaguely related is less alarming than that she has to compete with the horses for his affections. Dude, even in our more progressive times, that's still super duper illegal.
Yeah. Well,
this is how Kristen Lee wants to ruin Rogue. She wants to make him a priest.
Yep, that would be a rogue ruined indeed.
They are looking mighty serious. Yes.
Well,
because Mr. Ed stopped by. Yeah, you know who Mr. Ed is now.
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Ed stopped by and said, you mess with my daughter, you mess with me, you mess with me, and you mess with yourself. Oh my. Well, Ada thought it was funny. Lisa's just like, oh, I don't know about this. I just do not even know. Anyway,
Catherine Coulter, she's really pushing the boundaries.
That's illegal in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Then we have, a more kind of boring one. Wendy Corsi Staub, Dead Before Dark. So this is a thriller, contemporary thriller. And it does have, it's not just promotional material. We have this lady who looks to be in, by the time you scream, it's too late. Not too late to scream, otherwise you wouldn't be able to. In space, no one can hear that it's too late. And then this is Victoria Alexander, The Lady Traveler's Guide to Happily Ever After. She has a series called The Lady's Guide to, and I think this is the final book of that series, and the Lady Traveler's Society series. The Lady Traveler's Guide to Deception with an Unlikely Earl. The Lady Traveler's Guide to Larceny with a Dashing Stranger. The Lady Traveler's Guide to Scoundrels and Other Gentlemen. And some interstitial novellas. I have some of these, and they all have absolutely gorgeous covers. We have the cover, but are you ready for the step back?
Oh my gosh, another gorgeous background and that dress.
Wow. And I have some of the other series, and they all have these like beautiful backgrounds because they're traveling.
Yes, I absolutely love. Did you say traveling?
Yeah, the Lady Traveler's Society. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love the road trip trope, and that's what we've got going on in A Week to Be Wicked and A Rogue Not Taken, which I read too last week.
Okay, I don't know what I did with it, but Texas Destiny is a road trip.
Yeah, maybe I should read that one.
Because he picks her up at a train station, and she's supposed to, I don't remember exactly if she's supposed to marry him or somebody else or just work as a housekeeper. I don't remember because I did read it several months ago. And so they actually, that covered wagon, they actually are traveling from the train station to his ranch. And it's, that was before the railroad, when the railroad network was still being built. So it's a bit of a schlep for them.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe third time will be the charm with Lorraine Heath for me.
And Ana says the dress is giving me Cinderella vibes. It might just be my fuzzy brain.
No, that's definitely Cinderella vibes. Yeah.
Both of them, both dresses. I mean, I think it's just the same dress in different colors. I'm not mad about that.
You make a good point.
It is a little different. Huh?
Oh, I said you make a good point.
If you want to vamp for a moment, I can run and get the others if you want to see those.
Sure.
Okay, I'll be right back. Just keep the people entertained.
Okay. Well, I've already talked about everything that I'm reading. Well, I just read A Scot in the Dark. I moved on with the second book after The Rogue Not Taken by Sarah MacLean. And that one, it was super angsty. And we had a playful tone in The Rogue Not Taken. And we get to A Scot in the Dark. And yeah, it's super angsty. But it was good. We basically have a Scottish hero who was 17th in line for a dukedom, ends up becoming a duke. I'm talking about A Scot in the Dark by Sarah MacLean. And then the heroine who gets ruined by her jerk of a ex. And yep, love ensues. I was just saying I just read that book last week. Sequel to A Rogue Not Taken.
OMG, says Kristen Lee. Somebody remind me to put road trips for Bee's traveling vacation thing she's doing this summer. Ooh, yeah, that would be a good one. Megan says, good idea. It is. It's a very good idea. Okay, so I got a couple of the others.
Okay, let's see.
Lady Traveler's Guide to Deception with an Unlikely Earl.
Ooh. Wow.
I don't know if you can tell, but that is a Great Pyramid of Giza.
Okay. Yeah.
I think these are set in later on in the 19th century.
So do they have like adventure vibes too?
Yeah.
Oh, I might have to put those on my list. That sounds good.
I think this is the first one. Harry Armstrong has spent years in Egypt recovering relics and disregarding rules. Now he's back in England with a new title and a new purpose, penning his exploits. But his efforts are overshadowed by London's favorite writer about Egypt, a woman they call the Queen of the Desert. Is her name Priscilla? Of all things. Worse, her stories, serialized in newspapers and reprinted in books, are complete rubbish. They always hate women writers. Miss Sydney Honeywell didn't set out to deceive anyone. It's not her fault readers assumed her tales of a lady adventurer in Egypt were real. Admitting her inadvertent deception would now destroy her reputation and her livelihood. But when the Earl of Brenton challenges her to travel to Egypt to prove her expertise, accompanied by his dashing, arrogant nephew, what choice does she have but to pack her bags? With the matchmaking founders of the Lady Travelers Society in tow, Harry is determined to expose Sydney's secret. But the truth might not be as great a revelation as discovering that love can strike even the most stubborn of hearts.
That sounds good. I'm all into those adventure ones. I watched last year. I got into like Indiana Jones and The Mummy, and now I'm just all about it.
Nice. I'm not sure where we're going here. This is the Lady Traveler's Guide to Scoundrels and Other Gentlemen.
Ooh.
And
oh, is that her or him? That's her.
That's her.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty. I'm looking it up on Goodreads right now.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't get the dude. I mean, there's no dude on this cover. And this is thicker than the others because it actually has one of those interstitial novellas. So yeah. So anyway, I think these are like I said, yeah, these are in the 1880s. Kristen says, I love that. Paige says, a beautiful step back. And Kristen Lee says, it sounds like The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, or Romancing the Stone.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching that movie not too long ago. Have you seen that one, Sock?
Lost City?
Mm-hmm.
No, not yet. But I'm going to at some point.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. It's about a romance author and her cover model, and they end up in the jungle.
Well, because Romancing the Stone is about a romance author.
I haven't seen that one, and I need to.
That's an older one.
I know it's a classic, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's fun. But she's a romance writer, but he's like an adventurer. He's not a cover model or anything. So anyway, do we want to try? I mean, it's almost 4:00. Do we want to have another sprint or just? I could show more books, but those are the step backs. So, or I was thinking we could knock off at 4, but we've only done like 10 minutes of yuck and 1 30-minute sprint. So, and we could just go until 4:00 and just, talk more about books instead of having another sprint.
Okay. Or, yeah. Do you want to do we could do like a 20-minute sprint, or or probably not?
Well, yeah, I guess we could. That would only take us to like a little less than 4:15, and then we could just knock off then. But
wrap up after that. Yep.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay. Remind me when we come back. Well, I'll probably remember, but I want to have you guys pick my next novella that I'm going to read. So.
Oh, fun. Yes, and programming notes if people aren't in a position to stick around after 4. Monday, May 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern, Kristen Lee will be joining me on screen, and we will be doing a sort of middle of the Ever Afterathon discussion. And I'm Team Traveler, as are you, and Kristen is Team Pirate. So we're going to, get some other perspectives. Oh, and by the way, in one of those books, it was the nonfiction book about New York City as a maritime city. There was a bookmark in it.
Oh.
From Labyrinth Books in New Haven, which I believe is still there. Okay, so we are going to sprint until 20 minutes. I can't do math. 16 minutes.
4:15.
4:15. Okay. Sprinting until 00:15. Kristen Lee's taking her brother home, but she'll see us this evening.
Bye, Kristen.
Bye. Safe travels.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you. And there's the link for the radio station, and I will mute us now, and I will see you back in 20 minutes.
All right.
Okay, it's time to come back. And Paige was saying bye to Kristen. I have a couple people left, and I did find some books to share. If Stormy is still here, Stormy, if you want to speak up, because I have something that might be interesting to you. And oh, Lisa says you scared me. I didn't notice the time. Remember that first time I did the sprint and I had like this really loud alarm and everybody was just like, what was that? I know. I try to be soft about it. But then I like turned on when I went over to the river 105.9, it was like, I thought for some reason I was thinking we were going until 10 after, not 15 after. And I'm like, wait a minute. They've been playing Welcome to the Jungle for like 5 minutes. I know it's a long song and it feels even longer, but still. Okay. Oh, and Megan says she got scared too. Okay.
It must be because you guys are probably used to 30-minute sprints.
Well, I don't know. When I was in Amber's sprints last night, she's just like 50-minute sprints.
Yeah, the Swoony Readers book club, they like to do they'll do like hour-long sprints, but they'll go for like 6 hours.
Yeah. Okay. So, here's one that was relevant to what we were discussing earlier. Oops, here we got a comment. I just got into the zone. When that happens, I lose track of time. Yeah. Eva Lee. This is one of the books I got for free.
That one's on my TBR. I don't know if I'll get to it. I haven't been reading as much lately as I have in the past few months, but yeah.
Yeah, this is How the Wallflower Was Won. And then there's one that's not a step back. It is Samantha James, My Lord Conqueror, medieval. I like medieval. However, it is not a step back. However, there is a back cover clinch.
That's nice.
And this turns out, this is Romantic Suspense Contemporary by Christina Dodd, Point Last Seen. Turns out it's the first book in a series.
The first book. Nice.
And Stormy didn't say whether or not she's still here. Just in case, I'm going to go ahead and say this is another one I found, and that this is a kind of like contemporary Gothic for when it was written by Phyllis Whitney. And this is 1984. Paige says, yay, a first book in a series. I know. I thought it was notable when I went to add it to Goodreads. I was like, wait a minute. A first book? Anyway, so in case Stormy's still here, this is Rain Song by Phyllis Whitney, which is like contemporary Gothic. Contemporary for 1984 when it was published. So I thought I'd mention those. I still have some others that I didn't get into, but, it's getting late.
Yeah, so let me ask you guys which novella I should read next, because I've been reading some novellas. So here's your options. I have two from the Villains I'd Like to F anthology. So the first one is 7 Sinful Nights by Nicola Davidson. I don't know what it's about.
Well, it's a villain you'd like to. Yeah.
And there's 7 nights. So then we've got The Gangster's Prize by Joanna Shu. Is this like backwards for you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I think when I hold this up, it's backward for me, but it's not for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. It's fine for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we've got The Gangster's Prize. This is a Gilded Age villain. And then this one's not a villain. We've got an MM, The Marquess and the Earl by Christina Diane. This one she's an author who came on to do an interview with B, and I've read 2 of her books already, and I enjoyed them a lot. And so, yeah. So let me know which of these 3 novellas you think I should
Is that like hot pirate on pirate action as well? Because it looks like...
No, I think this one, actually, this whole series takes place at a house party.
That's part of that same villains I'd like to.
Nope. That's those two. The first two were part of that anthology.
Okay.
This one is the third book in the series. I've already read the first two, and this series is called the Unlikely Betrothal series. Every book takes place during the same house party. So all these couples are getting together during this same house party, if that makes sense.
Okay, Paige was saying she's one of those readers that have to read a series in order. I apparently have issues reading a series out of order, because I was asking her about some series the other day where I was like, can I read these out of order? Are they interconnected standalones? And she just got this look on her face like, and then she said, I always preferred, I think this was during the members only, so I could see her face. She's got this look on her face, just like, well, I always prefer to read them in order. And I'm like, oh, right.
I always try to read the series in order. However, like, I've been trying to get a little bit more, like, if there's one book specifically that I really want to read and the other ones I'm not that interested in, I've been trying to, like, choose that one. Because if you start with the first book and you don't like it, you might not get to the one that you're really interested in.
Yeah.
But other than that, I usually go in order.
Yeah. For me, it kind of depends. So, but Megan's in that camp. She doesn't know how others can read out of order. And every time I try it, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I say the first one about 7 nights. What was it again?
It's 7 Sinful Nights. Yep.
7 Sinful Nights.
1 vote for 7 Sinful Nights.
So glad I'm not alone, Megan. It really feels weird to me to read a series out of order.
It feels weird.
Another vote for the first option. That's the one by Nick. Is that the one by Nicola Davidson?
Yep.
Okay, because people have been talking about Nicola Davidson, and I haven't read her yet, but I'm interested. Now, have you read?
Yeah, I've read kind of a fair amount by her. I've read her Fallen series, which is probably her most popular series. It's about it's actually based on a real sex club from like Regency England.
They were some horny little bastards.
Yeah. So Nicola Davidson she writes steamy historicals, and so she's got that series, that 3 series. I enjoyed that, and then after that, I went and read her SSF series, Surrey Sexual Freedom Society, and that one was really good. And then it ends in this with a Christmas novella that just really tied the series off really well. And I've also read like another standalone by her that was a medieval one, and that one was an MFF. So one thing I like about Nicola Davidson is that she writes like all different types of, like, she writes FF, MF, mostly MF, but she also has MM, and she has menages, and so I like that she has. And it's not super crazy over the top steamy, like but it is like pretty steamy, but it's not like totally wild or anything.
Megan says, sometimes I really wish I could read a random book in a series.
The struggle is real. So yeah, I've read Nicola Davidson and I like her. So okay, looks like that'll be.
Yeah, that sounds. Is it on Kindle Unlimited?
Yep, I think so. Let me check. If it's not, I'll probably purchase it just because. I think it is though. Yep, it is.
Yeah, I come from a long line of freethinkers and Unitarians, so we don't even care. We just don't care. We'll read it in any old order. That was the same one. Oh yeah. Oh no. She's expressing a similar sentiment, but it's a different person. This is Paige saying, yeah.
I always
sometimes she wants to put debits on the wrong side of the ledger.
I'm even feeling that too with like Sarah McLean's series, even though I read this, like, so I started with her first series and then I read like her newest series, and then I read her third series, and it's like she has all these like crossovers between her series. So I would really recommend to anyone who hasn't read her to kind of go in publication order, but I didn't know that, so I've kind of been going all over the place, and it's kind of driving me a little crazy because I'm meeting these characters who I know have their own books, and so.
And you're like, ugh, phooey. I didn't know they were going to get married. Let's see. And Megan says, yeah, Sarah McLean is best read in order. The thing is that it's like I have a book in front of me. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, if I have to wait until I can read every single book in order, first off, maybe some of the other books don't appeal to me, like the couples are just not interesting or the plot isn't interesting. And secondly, if I have to wait until I can amass the entire series in order, that's like driving around to a bunch of libraries or whatever. And it's just like, this is leisure reading.
That makes sense.
There shouldn't be a requirement there.
And it's a little bit easier for me in that sense because I mostly read audiobooks or ebooks. So like it's pretty easy for me to get the books in order.
Well, I mean, yeah, because if it's on Kindle Unlimited or something, yeah. But I do actually prefer to read physical books. So yeah. There is either I find them for cheap at a library sale, or I don't mind going to different libraries to pick them up, and they certainly will bring them to my nearest branch library too. Megan says, I just started in publication order with authors in the past because my brain is like that, but then it worked out for some authors.
Yeah, for me, I don't do that just because I find that I don't want someone's debut novel to turn me off when their like 10th book, is really, you know what I mean? Like yeah, so I will start with like some of their newer series, but still within like the first book in the series.
Well, this is something from fan fiction, is that when I read fan fiction, and there's this one author in particular I like, and she's not a native speaker of English, but she writes in English, and I don't think she's writing in one language and then translating. I think she really is just doing her drafts and everything in English, and it's just like she posts a lot of different stories, and she posts a lot of chapters, works in progress, and it is so interesting. I mean, she writes interesting stuff, otherwise I wouldn't be so invested. It's just like every single chapter her writing is a little bit better. I mean, it's like you can see the improvement in her English and her writing, her writing was already pretty solid considering that she was working with that disadvantage of not being a native speaker. But you can also see like her English grammar is improving and her vocabulary is improving, but and her skills as a writer as well. And she was already pretty good, but it's just so neat to see her just like I said, every single time she's just learning so much, and it's so fun to watch somebody learning on the job like that.
Well, yeah, and that's an extreme example, but you can even see that with like Tessa Bailey, for example. Like her older stuff is much different than her newer stuff, and there's other authors too. But yeah, I love when you can really see the growth in the authors.
Oops, I wish I didn't do that with Eloise James. Her earlier stuff was not for me, but I remember liking The Wilds of Lindo Castle, her newest series at the time. I haven't picked up any more of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to be careful with the with the older stuff.
And I wonder if I'll like her newer stuff at all. Yeah, I mean she certainly has a reputation for just being really uneven.
I've heard that, and ultimately, I think
he was just talking about that the other day.
Yeah, ultimately, I think I've decided I'm not going to pick up Eloisa James, but there are some of hers that I would be interested in, but I don't know. I've heard so many mixed things.
Yeah. Okay, well, it is getting on toward 4:30, and we've got tea and biscuits in about 2.5 hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours. That's how clocks and math works. So thank you, everybody who came along, and appreciate it. And we will be back here next week. I don't know if I mentioned, Abi Jean is co-hosting for the rest of May, at least, maybe beyond, if I can persuade her. I'm going to get a DM from her later saying, I wish you hadn't said anything out loud because never again. Right.
No, I had a good time. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. I mean, I don't mind just talking directly to camera on my own, but it's nice to have backup. Yeah, Megan says I probably won't read any more of her, honestly. There's enough for me to catch up on. I mean, life is short and her backlist is long. Thank you for hosting this Thank you, Lisa. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, Lisa.
And so glad I got to join again. My schedule has changed, so I think I'll be back more. Well, you know, come back, don't come back. Come back when you can, and we're always happy to see you. Yay, so much fun. Thanks for making my afternoon go by so quickly. You are welcome. And some of you I will probably see later on today. Well, you won't see me, but we'll be milling about in the comments section.
I think
being ever so clever.
Sock, you're going to make me a YouTuber.
Oh, I have plans for you, my child. I have plans. See you later tonight, says Megan. See ya. Bye.
Bye.